Hi, I am I'm a video game developer, and I live out of my truck camper. Have been since March. Work in Vancouver, and my job lets me basically live on the road most of the time. I'm in the studio twice a week, Tuesdays and Thursdays, and I only need to be there in the afternoon, so I can basically be between Squamish and Mission most of the time, not have to pay the insane rent in Vancouver to just be stuck in a cubicle all the time. So yeah, I guess give you a tour of my house. I wound up just looking around, seeing what was available, and I noticed truck campers were a thing. So I was just looking at dealerships, seeing what truck campers were available, and I saw this one, and I kind of just fell in love at first sight. It doesn't really feel like a truck camper when you go inside, and yeah, I just figured if I'm going to be living in this full time, it should feel nice to be in. It should feel like a home when I'm just on the road all the time. And yeah, it's basically fulfilled that aspect in every way. But it also meant I had to upgrade my truck, so I had to trade my Tundra in for the diesel. And I've been glad for it. Gas prices have gotten really ridiculous recently, and I'm paying like 20 to 30 cents cheaper depending on where I go to fuel up. So that works out nicely.
Hey everyone, it's Forrest. I just want to give a huge thank you to the watchmaker Jord. They made this beautiful watch and sent it to me. I teamed up with Jord to give you guys an exclusive offer. $25 off and resizing for everyone. Links in the description below. And you can enter into a contest to possibly get $180 off one of these incredible watches. Watches are no longer about just telling time. They're about showing something. A $34,000 Rolex says one thing about you, but this watch says something different. It says that you're unique. It says that you care about style, but you also want to be different. And that's kind of my slogan. I say that at the end of all my videos, is be different. And that's because we are all individuals, and this could help showcase that. So if you guys are interested in one of these cool watches for you or possibly your significant other, there's a whole bunch of different ones. Go check them out, links in the description. And it's companies like this that allow these videos that I'm gonna jump right back into to happen. So thank you.
This is the dinette. This is just a slide out. It usually comes in, and pop it out all the time so that my dog can come in and out easily. Put his bed in there so he's not tracking too much stuff all over. Yeah, I like to have a little cardboard box here with the trash, some RV stuff specifically in there, and the cardboard box stops the stuff from flying around. My laundry basket. Yeah, there's a heater inside, fridge, oven, stove, microwave, sink, pretty much everything you'd find in like an apartment. So yeah, like never really feel like I'm missing out on any of the conveniences of modern life. Got a solar panel on top and a solar controller so I can just plug in. Yeah, the other thing, I guess, this thing's 4 seasons, so it's made for winter. People take this up north of the Arctic Circle and they're good to go in like minus 30 degrees Celsius. There's a propane heater basically over here, vents heat from there and there, and because it's such a small area, it keeps the entire unit pretty hot. And in the summer as well, it stays pretty cool because there's a fan directly over the bed, and when you open the 2 windows on the side, it's a two-way fan, so you can have it like basically blow air inwards or act as an exhaust and suck air out. And so if you have it set sucking air out, you're actually creating like a really nice breeze where it's sucking air in. The dinette also turns into a bed. This whole thing like slides down if I unlock it. There we go. Yeah, scared Drogo out of the way, but put that back up. It has a toilet and a wet shower, so everything in one unit. It's still a little wet because I just showered in it. It's got a skylight, got an exhaust, cabinet behind the mirror. Yeah, toilet paper is under a cover, so it's not going to get wet. Yeah, works out nicely. I try not to use it too much. There's a lot of public facilities I can take advantage of, but it's nice to have when I'm out in the bush or if there's an emergency per se, middle of the night, and I don't really want to have to run to a public washroom. And yeah, I find I don't really use that much space. I thought I would be, but like keep my socks and underwear, I guess, in there. Sweatshirt, towels mostly up in the top part. The hampers are pretty empty, if you can see that. Like even way back there, I just have like a helmet for my bicycle that I haven't gotten yet, that I plan on getting at one point. Yeah, I have my Xbox and PS4 in there, my second laptop, just a bunch of miscellaneous stuff, and yeah, my hampers are pretty empty. That's a monitor that broke. I've been meaning to recycle it, haven't gotten around to it yet. But yeah, like literally the only things I really use are that for storage, like all my t-shirts and shorts and whatnot, and yeah, my socks and whatnot over there, and even that's pretty empty.
How do you find the kitchen setup?
Works out nicely. Everything's in one area. I can just stand here and like be cooking, cutting everything, and this acts like a cutting board as well, which is really nice. So I can chop everything over there and then have it basically go out from that. And I haven't really had to use it, but it also gives you this option to extend your kitchen space. I've barely used it, but yeah, you can basically just slot that in here, and yeah, now you've got like way more countertop space. I find myself making a lot of stews and curries for the most part. It tends to be fairly easy to cook. I have a lot of canned goods in there, lots of canned chickpeas, Thai curry mixes and whatnot, and I tend to just whip them together really quick. Make a large pot that'll last me like a good 2 to 3 days.
Is this a new idea to you, living in a camper, or is this something you've thought about before?
It partially came to me only in like February, I would say, like just living on the road in general. I started seeing videos of people doing it. I was living in Coombs for the last 3 years. I worked for a video game studio up in Qualicum Beach, and when I first moved out there, I was living in a little cabin near Cameron Lake, basically. And when I first moved to the cabin, I was like, oh, you know what? I'm going to be super minimalistic. This is a small little space. I'm not going to have too much stuff. And then I wound up leaving that job in October and getting a new job in Victoria, a little 4-month contract. And when I moved down, I was like, wow, how did I accumulate so much crap, per se? And so then I started looking into just smaller living spaces, tiny homes, per se. The real estate market was getting pretty crazy as well, so I was like, should I be jumping into this right now? So yeah, I was like wondering from that perspective as well. And then my job in Vancouver, this job offer in Vancouver came along, and the rental prices in Vancouver were pretty crazy, and I got this little guy with me. And judging by the stories I hear, I don't really expect to find a space without paying like over $2,000 per month. So I figured, you know what, I may as well like just go on the road, and especially because this job lets me like be 5 days on the road, and I'm only 2 days in the studio, and even those 2 days I'm only in the afternoon, so that works out nicely. Yeah, I'd say mostly just a factor of things, a combination of just things came together, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna do it. I was I'd say maybe 40% impulse decision as well. I saw this camper, and brand new, they go for about $65,000 roughly, and an old couple had bought it. They used it for one night, and the lady decided her back would get ruined going in and out of the bed, so they returned it literally after one night use. So it's a 2018 model, and it was being sold as used for like literally half the price of a brand new like camper, which is partially why I jumped on this. I was like, you know what, like I didn't expect to spend so much on my setup, but I'm kind of glad I did, because it's worked out. I'm comfortable in here. I don't really feel like I'm lacking anything that I was in my cabin, per se. It's like everything I had in my cabin pretty much condensed into one little space, and now it's on wheels, so I can like go wherever I want. And yeah, I also want to go for a truck, kind of over a van, because being able to go off-road was a major component. Because I lived in Coombs, I was hitting up a lot of the logging roads around the island, and I already had a lot of places in mind that I wanted to be able to go boondocking. I didn't know how capable a van would be necessarily taking it some of these places that I have in mind, and so I had to look for a 4x4 as well. And one of the only vans I guess that came to mind was the Mitsubishi Delicas. I guess they seem like they're pretty robust, but at the same time the space seems limited. I'm not going to be having a shower in there anytime, so yeah, just a combination of factors, I guess, just came together at the right time and made me make this sort of spontaneous decision.
How do you find it living in Vancouver in something like this that is more obviously a camper and being lived in?
I've seen a lot of those vans, the stealth vans per se, that people will use to not really attract attention. And it seems like Vancouver's a lot more friendly towards just RV living in general. City seems to have more of a awareness of the rental crisis per se. I've pulled up at Spanish banks and various other places in Vancouver, and I've gotten mostly positive attention. People have come in, asked to see my setup, given me compliments about how I'm living, asked about the lifestyle, and I really haven't felt like stealth had to be much of a component for me.
Would you recommend this lifestyle to anybody?
Yeah, definitely. I save a lot more money. I'm not spending nearly as much as I would in terms of propane, gas, and dump fees as I would with rent. I mean, you put that all together, I'm spending maybe about $450, $500 a month. That's like an average rental, and not in Vancouver. In Vancouver, that's like a third, that's like a third of what you'd be paying of like rent. And yeah, that's pretty much all I'm paying in terms of my month-to-month costs in general. Just gas, propane, and dump fees, and then groceries, I guess, which you'd be paying in sticks and bricks anyway. And I don't find myself wanting for stuff. I have a freezer. I have shrimp stocked up in there right now. Some veggies in the corner. At the moment, I think I'll have cauliflower and spinach in there. But yeah, it's nice. I don't find myself lacking in terms of packing space. It's nice being able to go wherever you want, and that's, I guess, the largest factor, I'd say, driving this sort of lifestyle is the freedom that comes from mobility. If you have a job that allows you to do it, especially, like, I'd say it's the best way to live. The thing is just to be respectful of where you are. Don't overstay your welcome would be key. Tends to not attract attention, the negative attention that way. Don't leave your trash lying around. In fact, like, pick up trash when you can. Yeah, try to leave an area looking better than it was when you came there. Yeah, just put out positivity and it'll come back to you, right? Tends to be. I feel like we're going to see a lot more of this sort of lifestyle start to take effect. Real estate's pretty crazy right now. I guess we're seeing a lot of people in our generation sort of realize like that having a mortgage is sort of like tying yourself down, even though you're having like what you would call an appreciating asset per se. If you're doing it for the investment, you're still at that point your possessions own you, right? And yeah, I'd say people are moving more towards freedom and that sort of perspective, and it's refreshing to see a lot more, like, refreshing to have conversations with other people living this sort of lifestyle and seeing what encounters they have. If anyone has the opportunity to do it, definitely recommend it.
And where can people find and follow your journey if they want to?
At the moment, I have an Instagram, Forest Guitarist. Been contemplating putting up a YouTube channel, but haven't gotten around to that yet. Yeah, for now, Forest Guitarist. If I wind up putting up a YouTube channel, I'll probably post about it through there.